There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on! Wow. I'll watch the video later. Ain't dry mopping this. Good afternoon once again. Welcome to Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. That's me, Joey Only, sitting here at 3,953 feet above sea level in the Caribou Mountains, bringing you weather and world news and wilderness news and all that here on the channel. My place to talk to the world right here. Hit share and subscribe and like and all that. Leave a comment if you find this video helpful and interesting. Help me get that algorithm up. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that. So I've been going on every year about cold weather and how it's deadly. And I always get these range of opinions and responses back that are negative, like, well, that's just winter in Canada, and well, it gets cold here. And that's all truisms. Yeah, we know. We know it gets cold here. We know that. That's the point, right? Is that we have a society of people who have to live in a cold climate, and we have to consider that we have different challenges here than people do in other parts of the world. And if we want to have a community perspective of safety and accountability and concern and compassion for people, you know, we do our best to look out for everybody the best we can. We do our best to share with people what the reality of cold weather can be, how quickly it can turn lethal. You know, we've had a lot of these minus 20s and 30s temperatures here in northern BC. And this is an example of somebody who, even at just minus 10, lost their life. You know, quite possibly either. I don't know what the situation is in this accident, how exactly played out. I can imagine a scenario where you go off-road and you're more or less trapped in your vehicle through the night. And bad things can happen, right? So we had people like Steve Brown here in the past who died in front of his place right here in Wells. You can think of my cousin Jeremy freezing to death, right? When the young man went missing in the Peace last winter, the beginning of the winter, like at the fall, and then into the winter, and he was gone for 50, 60 days or something crazy. I mean, we were all right to expect that no one would survive that, because here's a case where just one night. So this caught my eye on Nelson Facebook group today, and I want to read this because I think this is at least the least we can do for this young man who's lost his life and for the grieving partner is try to learn a lesson from this and also let her words be heard. Okay, so Christina Cutler says, to the communities, the authorities, and all who read this, it's with a heavy heart and deep sense of loss I share the tragic account of the night I lost the love of my life, Justin. His loss has left a void I cannot begin to describe, and with it, a responsibility to speak out, not only for him, but for the community we both loved and cherished. Justin was just 25 years old. He was wise beyond his years, full of promise, ambition, and dreams of the future we longed to share. His vision for a better, more just society was grounded in compassion, kindness, and an unwavering belief that we can do better as a community. He sounds like my kind of guy. That's my belief. That's why this channel exists, in a sense. You know, it's my place to tell you about the dangers and to prepare you, to give you the knowledge that you may have to survive a situation like this. And I don't know, again, the story and what happened, what he tried to do to survive, what the situation was. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people don't know basic hypothermia prevention. You know, it could be that he just didn't have warm clothes. I don't know what the story was. All I know is what Christina says, but what she says is heartfelt, and I think it's worth reading further on. On the night of January 18th, 2025, around 11:50 p.m., Justin tragically drove off Highway 3A just outside Nelson. The temperatures plummeted to 10 degrees below freezing. I immediately called the authorities before beginning my personal search. They were eventually able to narrow down his location to within 650 meters. Despite knowing he was stranded in life-threatening conditions, the RCMP made the decision to call the search off at 3:30 a.m. after only 2 hours. Given that Justin and I are only 25 years old, it seems the authorities may have underestimated the urgency of the situation, potentially dismissing his need for immediate help on Saturday night. At no point were search and rescue or the fire department contacted, despite repeated desperate calls for help. Now, I don't know who's responsible for this. I don't know what the story on the other side is. But she seems to make some very reasonable points here. And this is the kind of thing that when I'm giving you cold weather forecast. I'm telling you that these are dangerous conditions. And I'm saying prepare yourselves in the community. I'm also speaking to people who work in emergency services who may still be subscribed to this channel despite my leanings. So, I'm trying to get this message out to everybody, trying to create this culture of like, oh, we're below zero. Oh, it's winter. Again, this isn't the minus 30 weather we've been having up in the Peace. This is minus 10 still. The police immediately requested my assistance in completing a missing person report, consuming valuable time during a life-threatening situation. Consequently, Justin's family and I were left to search for him in the freezing cold until morning with limited time to act given the conditions that Saturday night. My deepest instinct as his partner was to find him, to bring him home. Despite this, we were left to search on our own with no support, guidance, or protection. At 8:50 a.m., the decision was made by the RCMP to contact search and rescue. By then, it was far too late. His family and I were met with resistance instead of support. The RCMP's report stating that the accident occurred at 9 a.m. is false. This misrepresentation only adds to the trauma we've already endured. The facts are clear. Justin was injured and stranded in the late hours of the night and left out there without the proper protection. Tragically, he passed away from hypothermia, from non-life-threatening injuries. He could have been saved with proper timely intervention and guidance from the authorities. My love did not deserve this. The community, a place we both adored, did not deserve this. This tragedy was preventable, but it speaks to a larger issue. The severe lack of safety measures, poor road conditions, inadequate lighting, the lack of barricades in this area, particularly in the dead of winter. This is compounded by a failure in the response to our urgent pleas for help. It's left a stain on all of us. We as a community must demand change. We must ensure that no other person endures this kind of suffering and that others are not left stranded in such dangerous conditions without the help they deserve. It's so terrible. It's such a terrible story. I'm asking for transparency, accountability, and a full review of the authorities' action that night. We want answers. We need to know why the search was abandoned, why proper resources were not dispatched in time. It could be that something important came up. It could, and they're short-staffed. Like, we don't know. We don't know the answers, but we deserve to find out, and I agree with her on that. Why was the community left to fend for itself? My love, Justin, had hope for this community, a hope rooted in progress and compassion. He wanted a society that recognized its flaws and strived to be better. I now carry that same hope for him and all of us. To the authorities, to the community, to all who read this, we need your support. We need to ensure that this kind of failure is never repeated. We need to ensure that our loved ones are never left stranded again without hope, without help. My love, Justin, deserves so much more. He deserved to come home. We as a community deserve better. With heartfelt concern, Justin's girlfriend. I think that's powerful. It's tragic. It's sad. It's real. I think she's honest. I think she's correct. Again, we don't know the whole story. But we know that we live in a time where people seem to care less and less and less about each other, and I don't know how far that permeates through society, but this is an example of a place where we need to really take seriously and have compassion for people, who are in this position. In this case, first Justin, but now his former partner and her family, his family. Have compassion for them too. So I hope we can get some answers. I hope that this kind of thing can just not happen again. But I also hope that when we're talking about, hey, it's going to be cold, the weather's going to be doing this, hope that we have extra thought in our mind that even at minus 10, something can go wrong. You can go off the road in minus 10, and that can be the last thing that ever happens to you. And so easy to freeze to death. Anyways, that's what I got for this afternoon. Thanks very much, everybody. We'll see you very shortly with some more weather, wilderness, and updates and bad news and all that kind of stuff. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.